The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.
Front row then, confirmation then, it is Clinton Seller, your reigning champion and the man who would be king once again, who heads up. Splitting the front row, Brent Herron, the arrival of the Green Machine, once again on the Kawasaki and on the outside. For the very first time, we need to make a big noise about this. Jade Goodside, the local hero, onto Superbike racing for the very first time this season, gets onto the bikes and changes the world by putting a Super M on the front row.
Yeah, into a national championship or challenge category for the first time. He was down at Pakisa Freeway doing some testing on that motorcycle in the Thunder bikes and got it all sorted. Looks like it's worked well, because to be on the front row at your home track, and we can say officially his home track, that's the way it goes. His brother's on our tailpiece watching over the shoulder, and he's about to go and do battle with some of South Africa's top riders. Most of them on Yamaha brand. There's some KTMs out there. There is a Suzuki out there as well with Johnny Cricker on board. And we look forward to this one more than most.
Yep, this is going to be an absolute banger. And if you cannot get around Clinton Seller in lap number 1 and arguably turn number 1, you ain't going to get past him. I think we're going to be watching the dice for the minor placings today. And Goodside is a huge threat. I've said that outside line third rider position on front row is a brilliant arrival. If you can get the hammer dropped hard enough, you can haul shot.
Yeah, that's what I think Brent Herron is going to be looking to do. And maybe even Jade Goodside. It'll be a real turnaround for this racetrack and for this event if we see a Super M hole shotting into turn 1. We didn't see that in Cape Town when the Super M's went so well and of course qualified right up there. In fact, we were the fastest qualifiers in the Cape Town round with both McFadden and Ronald Slamet doing such a great job. But right now, there is a very good possibility of a hole shot going to Jade Goodside, and the first time a Super M would have outgunned Super GP into turn 1. But that's still going to be sorted out. I think the most dangerous man on track right now is not any of those riders that I've mentioned. The most dangerous man that we've got to watch out for on the start is going to be Anthony Shelley. Yeah,
Shelley, so strong. We have seen him step in and out of 1000cc racing, predominantly known historically as a Super 600 rider. But when he has come good, and there have been a few incidents over the last couple of seasons where he stepped onto the 1000cc machines, but arguably the Yamaha 1000cc in its new format of the R1 suits Shelley down to the ground. A much smaller machine, easier to handle, and very similar to the 600 in the mid-corner power delivery.
Johnny Cricker having a big look over his shoulder there as he comes to take up his position a bit further back on the grid. As I said earlier on, in terms of the Super M category, Van Lochrenberg still has a chance, but he has to take both victories in Super M if he wants to beat Bu Levy. There is still 50 points up for grabs, and it'll put him 4 points ahead of Bu if he's able to do that. But with Jade Goodside on the front, it's going to be a difficult task.
Here we go, greens at the back. It is going to be a very quick light. Watch for the whole shot and reaction. As soon as we get gone, lights are on, and revs are up.
Revs are up. We head down towards turn 1. Off the line, it's Herron. Herron got a good start. So did Seller. Seller and Herron heading side by side. Seller's going to get the whole shot. On his inside is Herron. And there go the two M-Tech Nashua Yamahas. It's Brandon Good to third place. Anthony Shelley to 4th. Jade Goodside to 5th, outgunning Lance Isaacs on the Black Swan BMW as they go down into the big corkscrew section. It's Yamaha sitting in 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, then we pick up on the BMW. So Goodside got beaten up a little bit there. He's going to have to just settle himself down and run with the pace. We know that he's got the form to run with the early laps of Goody and especially Shelley, but right now it is all about Evil Knievel. Clinton Seller, the reigning champion, is looking on point, outbreaks himself there. So down into, it's going to be a change-up. It looks like Herron had a chance there to close things down. A little bit of a wild early run for Seller.
Yeah, he went into Dio double right a little bit too hot. Managed to bring it back though. And if that's the kind of riding he's having to do at the start of this race, you can see he's just trying to get away. As you mentioned in the 600s, if you can get away in the first couple of laps, you can just settle down and just maintain a decent pace to keep everybody else behind you. Right now, the biggest charge is coming from Herron. The Black Knight is on the King's Tail.
So we're just ending off the Southern Loop. We are ending the lap in the Pirelli Southern Loop, down the start-finish straight, and almost all the way out of the Southern Loop, down the straight. The front wheel is up on Clinton Seller's machine, and Herron is staying with him. This is not necessarily a horsepower circuit for the superbike side of things. They're unable to unleash the full potential of the machines, and Herron has got a great handling machine. He said the front end of his bike is untouchable on the circuit. He is going to be right there.
Have a look at him diving up the inside, possibly looking for an adult Borsov line as they head up onto the braking markers into Portable Shade Hairpin. You can see Harron is certainly looking extremely dangerous. And as he came through that section, was definitely the quicker of the two riders. You can see the bikes are very evenly matched in terms of power output, but under braking and the handling of the Kawasaki seems to be that much better. I say that completely differently to what I said at Red Start, because Red Start was the other way around.
Yeah, completely the other way around. This time around on a different circuit. Similar kind of riding style coming out of Brent Harron and Sella. They're kind of lazy on the bike, although the advantage on this circuit will be in the hands of Harron. Much taller, able to climb around on the bike, and those corners that tend to drop away, he will be able to keep the bike slightly more upright and not use all the lead angle that he has to.
Let's see how they go into the Pirelli Southern Loop now, and Harron just sitting comfortable. Remember, it's 18 laps of riding headed our way. We've completed one. We're about to complete the second one of 18. 16 to go as they cross the line, and 1 and 2 have actually got away slightly from Brandon Good and Anthony Shelley. Goody sitting very comfortable in third place. Remember, he's looking to move up ever so slightly, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch Brent Harron. He might still be able to catch Lance Isaacs, who's behind him by 2 positions.
Incredibly enough, Greg, on the figures, on the first flying lap, straight away down into the 16s. So we are on point to see these guys tumble. We are expecting to see a sub-16, certainly on laps 3 and 4.
As they come into that hairpin now, the 16.677 is about 66 hundredths of a second slower than the fastest 600 lap that we got in that race. So Baker's time is pretty much still the fastest lap we've seen out of a motorcycle around here yet, but we've still got some action to come, and I think, as you said, Matt, they're going to start dropping slowly but surely towards that 15-second bracket.
On our live streaming, we're staying with the top 2 right now, but outside the top 3, we go to Goody, Shelley. They're working well together. A long way back to pick up on Good's side, so he's lost a ton of time. Remember, our third fastest qualifier in intermittent conditions lost a ton of time in the opening laps.
To the double right now. This is very, very tricky. Now you can see Brent Harron just settling down. He realizes that it's a long race. And a lot of guys are saying, 18 laps seems to be, it'll be okay. You don't realize that it's nearly 40 kilometers of racing they've got to do out there on this circuit.
And a very physical circuit at that as well. Third place is definitely going to be the one to watch out for, as Shelley is right on the back wheel of Goody, just allowing Goody to do all the hard work at the moment. And Goody getting a little bit early on the entry at the top of the corkscrew.
A nice run there from Shelley right now. Remember, this is the first time that he's raced the R1. So he did do some testing at Red Star Raceway a couple of weeks ago, and he actually tested both his own motorcycle and Brandon Good's bike that's out in front of him. So he knows what the capabilities of that particular machine are, and will look to run up as quickly and as close to his teammate as possible. I'm not sure if there's team orders in place there. They don't usually have team orders at this stage due to the fact that they're too far apart in terms of the championship. But if there's a possibility of a podium, and Brandon Good is sitting in that podium position right now, I'm sure that Ricky would have said to him, listen, just give it to Goody, he's worked hard for the season. Shelley will play the team game.
Yeah, he probably will. Through NGL Logistics then, climbing the hills once again, undulating the whole way through this circuit. It is clear out front that Harron is not able to run with the pace of Sella. Sella drops under the magical 16 for the first time on that last flyer, a 1:15.9, and he is starting to stretch away. 1.2 seconds the gap now. It will grow on this lap to 1.5.
Let's make it a 1:15.726 on that last pass from Clint Sella. That is the fastest lap around this track ever on any form of machinery. Incredible riding there from Clint Sella. 16.4 coming out of Brent Harron puts him straight into the second fastest lap. Really looking, it's just chopping and changing all the time. Brandon Good equally matched by Anthony Shelley, both in the 17s and very close. In fact, Jade Goodside still leads the Super M's down in 5th place. Able to lap in the 1:19s, but has got to a 1:20.2 on the last pass.
And Isaac sitting in 6th place on the back wheel of Goodside is the meat in the Super M sandwich, as in 7th place is yet another Yamaha R1. Dylan Gray, 2nd in the Super M's.
So good ride there from Dylan Gray. He's beating at the moment the Kawasaki ZX6 of Wyatt Avis. Avis currently sitting in what is 4th place in Super M. But of course, Wyatt Avis, we mentioned earlier on, not used to riding on tarmac at all.
No, not at all. And the only 600 machine with Johnny Cricker running the 750. So he is the smallest capacity machine out there. But hats off. Great to see the guys switch up and change up, coming out of dirt and jumping in the air to jumping around on tarmac. Completely different beast. There's Yanni Moll. Great shots of him. He has been a stalwart and a real good buy-in for the Super M category.
And looking at the way things are going right now, Moll is behind Van Lockenberg, so he's not going to close down the 13 points between himself and Van Lockenberg on those RC8s.
Again, Moll, one of the smaller riders, very similar in stature, in fact, to Nicole van Asbeke. and working super hard on a track like this that does not benefit the smaller rider.
Slightly hairier though, hey? With that massive
I would hope.
goatee. Massive goatee on Yanni Moll, of course. You can actually see it probably streaking out of that aero helmet as he comes through if you're close enough. Right, Anthony Shelley, that is the shot we see heading down the hill towards the DO'd double right-hander. And he's closing on his teammate, but as I said, I think he's going to play the team game here and probably just sit behind Brandon Good, make sure that his teammate gets that podium position, and unless there's a problem, I don't think he's going to challenge. But as I say that, he gives me the commentator's curse. Thanks for that one, Anthony.
Just looks for a line up the inside, but a pass there would be an ugly pass. It is a stop, stand your teammate up or whoever you are in the war against and send them out to the banking. They're going to be a spectator afterwards because they will not be able to recover from a move like that. We'll have to see if this battle is going to grow or whether it's going to pick up, but it's clear that Shelley feels like he is the faster of the two right now.
And these two are split by probably about 100th of a second. This man, though, has a comfortable 2.2 second lead over Brent Herron and is starting to eke away from Herron.
Well,
Herron is unable to match the pace of this Neolife powered by Yamaha machine.
Well, last time around it was 1.7. It has grown to 2.2, which means now that he is on point, he's able to eke out almost half a second a lap. This gap will start to get blown wide open. Sella is in the zone, and just those inside lines showing how bumpy it is if you try and clip those curves. Lovely shots, and he will have that thing set up perfectly so he can do some rear end steering as they sweep around this incredible circuit, and the shots are doing it justice now. We are really starting to see the up and down and twisty-turny nature of this incredible Dezzi Raceway.
Yeah, they've done an awesome job to get this all sorted out. Matt, incredibly, only 18 months ago, this didn't exist. So well done, and hats off to the entire Dezzi crew for getting this sorted out. And of course to Des Goodside himself to have the vision to give us a track to play with down in Natal. It is certainly needed. We have a great crowd here that have come out to support SuperGP, and we hope that you're entertained all around the world here on our live streaming.
Is it Sella being a strategist? Because the whole way through last week I chatted to him while he was over at work at Cayenne, and he says to me he wasn't enjoying this track, not excited about coming down here. Yesterday he was miles off the pace. This morning just pulls it out the bag.
I think the conditions were not in his favor at all. In fact, not in anybody's favor. Now that it's dried up, even Neil van Rockenberg is under some pressure now as he's about to be caught and passed by Clinsella. A change up a bit further back there for third place. Anthony Shelley has gone through and passed Brandon Good.
Oh, this is a situation that we thought was going to come into play. It's come into play extremely early on. So Neil van Lockenberg getting sent back as one of the lappers super early on in the race. Only 7 laps into the race, and the big players are coming on through. That is going to make this gap grow even bigger, because if you're the first man on road, you make the pass clear and you can check out. This gap is now 2.6. It will grow to 3 seconds pretty soon, with Herron having to deal with the passing.
I want to just pick up on the fact that I don't see Yanni Moll on track. I would have said that it was Yanni Moll going in there. That's just a little bit of a replay of Sella going into turn 1.
Nice control drift.
He got it out of shape, but it's the kind of riding we see out of Sella in these kind of situations. This is a bit further back in the field. This, of course, is Johnny Kricker, and he's in 9th place, sitting what is 5th place overall in Super M. That's a 750cc Suzuki he's on, and doing a great job fighting at the back there with Luan van Zyl.
Yeah, he's got around about 4 seconds up the road to try and pick up on White Avis. As Sella gets up the inside, and I'm pulling my elbows in as I'm commentating because that lapper didn't know which way to look.
Yeah, Luan van Zyl got caught out there as Sella just came under braking, managed to pick the bike up and not going to the back end of that man. But Van Zyl looked over the right-hand shoulder, and down the left-hand side went Sella.
Through the traffic as well, Sella has lost a little bit of time. He hasn't lost his gap, but he has lost time on his own lap times, losing around about 0.8 of a second, passing all this traffic.
Kricker, no worries at all. He's got oodles of experience and knows exactly where to put that motorcycle to stay out of the way of the charging first and second place riders. It's 3.1 second, basically, between Sella and Herron as they go into the DO double right.
So I'm just giggling at your voice there.
It was good, yeah. So I caught myself out on that one too.
Yeah.
But into the NGL logistics section, he's now got clear track and can start opening up that gap yet again on Herron.
It'll be around about 2 more laps where Sella will keep the pace going. He'll try and put as many lappers between himself and the chasing Brent Herron, who we pick up on now. And like I say, it could have been a completely different season had Herron had a little bit more luck on his side. He definitely came into the season with good form and a good setup on his machine, even though he knew he was going to have to fight in the second half of the season against the new technology of Yamaha. But there has been a reaction from RD Racing, Dave Polswaite, the man who tunes that bike to try and find a little bit of extra out of the green machine.
Yeah, it certainly worked well. He's definitely found a lot better pace than what Herron had at Red Star Raceway. little bit further back here, you can pick up on action, and you can see Lance Isaacs also battling here.
He's not going to be happy sitting behind Jade Goodside. Goodside's a classy rider, but remember, he is not an all-out national superbike rider, and this is a new sport to him. Isaacs, the man who's trying to nail down, is still looking for his first national championship win after all these years, sitting way down there in 6th place. Yes, that's where he qualified, but he would expect to run a little bit higher come race time.
And let's just throw in some figures quickly. If he stays where he is right now behind Jade Goodside, he is going to be losing the 3rd place in this championship to Brent Herron. Brent Herron will be in 3rd place by the tune of 5 points.
Yep. So we thought that was going to be a change-up. Remember, we are missing Kershaw, we are missing Scholz, 2 of the big hitters who have always run in the top 5, arguably Scholz particularly running in the top 3 since they got onto the new machinery.
Lance Isaacs only getting his motorcycle this morning as it got stuck in customs coming back from international duties. This is Jade Goodside heading into Diode. That's the leading Super M rider, and proudly Bidvest Yamaha. Shoyan Motelman doing a great job here at his home track.
Isaacs' best lap is a 1:18. Seller's best lap, a 1:16. Isaacs has got a lot to find, and he's going to have to spin some huge spanners and work closely with his team to try and find some pace going into heat number 2. He's building up and starting to come onto the back wheel of Goodside. Goodside may be starting to fade a little bit here. Remember, this is going to be a very long race for him, and he may start to feel a little bit of arm pump. So much braking, and we know that you're going to be loading up the front end of this bike massive.
Around Neil van Rockenberg go Jade Goodside and Lance Isaacs into turn 1. I'm going to just have a look and see the point that I wanted to raise about Jade Goodside is he's probably one of the fittest riders on the circuit, so the length of the race is not going to affect him too badly. However, it's the time in the saddle on a road bike that he's going to find difficult.
Now, maybe not length of the race, but the severity of the race and how hard you've had to push in these first couple of laps. We'll keep an eye on Goodside's lap times, but I am expecting to see them come a little bit off point from this point onwards.
He heads down the hill towards the Dio double right-hander with Lance Isaacs on his tail, but Isaacs lost a little bit of ground in the overtaking of Neil van Rockenberg. So it's just opened up that margin ever so slightly yet again between Goodside and Isaacs. And as I said, if Goodside manages to keep Isaacs back there, it means that Brent Herron is going to move up into 3rd place. And Isaacs is going to drop down to 4th by the tune of 5 points with 1 race to go. So what was looking good for a top 3 overall in this championship has sadly changed around for Lance Isaacs on the Black Swan BMW.
To be honest, it's actually been a tough season for Isaacs. He has really battled the BMW. He's constantly complained about it being a little bit overweight. He needs to put it on a banting diet the whole time. He says he's cooking brake pads, and on a track like this, we said the BMW was going to be more than a handful because you are on the brakes a ton around this circuit, and 18 laps is just going to fry those pads.
Incredible to see a 15.693 out of Seller. It was earlier on in the race, and that is the fastest lap around here, as we mentioned. But 16.1 out of Brent Herron is an incredible lap time around here, too. That is almost 0.8 of a second quicker than any other motorcycle before we came to this track.
7 laps to go. Good shot of our marshals doing the business. So we are over the halfway knuckle, and this is where Seller will just start to manage the race very nicely. He'll stay in the mid-16s from now on, and it'll be all eyes on the pit board from this lap in.
Coming up on another back marker there, that should probably be Dylan Gray.
So he's lapping up to 8th place by my count. So Dylan Gray, the 6th of the Yamaha R1s in the new format.
Right into Discover Digital, drop away, and then the corkscrew. This is such a difficult corner to get right in any form of machinery you want to race in. And it looks like Seller's just found the rhythm, found the ride.
Yes, I see where you're going. It's bobsled time, but it's not. It's actually superbike time. But he has got a crazy wild line at the bottom of that corkscrew, which makes his life a little bit difficult at the turning point, which is the hairpin, the portable shade hairpin. He has to really get hard on the inside and hard on the gas to fire it out there. But he said he's tuned his bike specifically for the circuit. He's got it stiffer than he has done the whole way through the season. Yeah,
it's Dezzi's South Coast roller coaster we're on right now. This roller coaster ride is incredible. And if you ever get an opportunity to get down here to have a few laps around this track, I certainly recommend it. It is probably one of the nicest built circuits in the country, and definitely something you want to be getting around on either on a motorcycle or on four wheels. It's up to you, but both are pretty impressive as we see the battle continuing there between the two Nashua Yamahas of Shelley and Good.
And what position is he in? Third. What position did he just finish Super 600 in? Third.
Yeah, it's a pretty consistent day from him.
Okay,
up and round. That's
Wyatt Avis about to get sent one lap back, and Wyatt running a very respectable, thank you very much, 7th place.
That's impressive stuff out of Wyatt Avis. Let me just throw another one at you. That's second in the Super M's on a 600. That's a great ride out of Avis.
So he's come up, and fortunately Dylan Gray and Lewin van Sale getting sent places back and riding bigger machinery, and proves my point. I was hoping to see my point proved correct earlier in the day that the 600s on the circuit like this would run hotter lap times than the 1000s. I'm out, but I'm not out by much.
I was going to throw something. I thought you were going to go down the line of the fact that both Jade and Wyatt probably fitter than Dylan Gray and Lewin van Sale, which is why Wyatt has now moved into that second place. Both Dylan Gray and Lewin van Sale battling a little bit more on the big R1 than what Wyatt will be doing on the little ZX6 that he's on.
Yeah, you won't have to hang on to the bike as much, and we know from enduro, off-road and motocross training, the intensity to get your body into a level to be able to compete in those events, totally different. Not taking anything away from the guys that ride in the Superbike national categories, the Super GPs, our premier class. They train super hard, but remember, they've got a ton of seat time and a lot more years of experience in hand.
Years of experience on the tarmac, but of course when it comes to fitness, any kind of fitness is great when you're at this level. And that's why you can see Jade Goodside able to maintain and keep Lance Isaacs out. Wyatt Avis able to do the same thing on his 600 and beat both Dylan Gray and Lewin van Sale and Johnny Cricker. And I'm telling you, if there's anybody that's fitter than Johnny Cricker out there, I'd like to see him.
Good luck. So right now, as we head with 4 laps remaining, Clinton Seller leads out over Brent Herron. The gap there now edging 5 seconds. Anthony Shelley in 3rd place, just ahead of Brandon Good. Only a second between those two lads, so they are matching each other. Both of the Nashua MTech Racing Yamaha riders running 3 and 4. Jade Goodside in 5th place on the proudly Bidvest Yamaha, keeping himself ahead of Isaacs. And I think Isaacs is going to want to make this pass. But remember, it'll be scored differently. So Isaacs, realistically, is sitting in 5th place in the Super GPs.
If he's able to get past on Jade, it brings it down to 4 points between himself and Brent Herron. If Brent Herron is able to finish,
but will he actually get scored that? Like, it's a different championship, it's different categories.
No.
So even though they are on the track together, are they actually going to get scored differently?
That's the thing we need to take into account. But I'm working on the Super GP points, and Super GP points right now puts Lance Isaacs in 5th place.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
5th place gives him 5 points adrift. So it's a hard day in the saddle here for Lance Isaacs.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, it has been a hard season, and they're just really battling in the current rules to try and trim any weight off that big BMW. Seller, though, he is a man smiling ear to ear. The last couple of seasons on Onassis Racing, he has been riding on the Kawasaki machinery. This year they moved across late in the year, I think it was round 3, onto the new machinery that he's currently on, and they were the first team to really come to terms with the power delivery of the R1. And Seller, as the champion that he is, he says this machine is a game changer.
So between 4 and 5 points in it there, between what is going to be 3rd place in this championship. Lance Isaacs and Brent Herron fighting for that honour. Herron has the advantage right now, and it's between 4 and 5 points, depending on where Isaacs finishes up, of course. Anthony Shelley going to be moving up nicely, probably into the top 10 overall for the Super GP class, although he's already there because he's had 2 rounds on his Kawasaki earlier on in the season. And he'll be looking to probably move up into hopefully a 6th place or a 7th place to beat out Andre Calvert. I'm not quite sure if he's going to have enough time and points to catch Nicholas Kershaw.
As we watch our leader head onto what should be his penultimate lap, Seller, 2 more to go, and in the background there, the start-finish straight is the distance between 1st and 2nd, Seller and Herron. Herron's brought it back. It was edging 5. He's found around about a 1.5 seconds, but I think that's just Seller rolling out.
That's an incredible ride there from Clint Seller. He really has done it all to perfection. Coming up on the back end, looks like of Johnny Cricker again. Cricker moves completely out of the way. Great riding there from Johnny, and he just gets on with the job at hand. He will be sitting 5th place in the Super M class.
And in the Super M's, Jade Goodside, remember, he's sitting in 5th place on the road, but 1st in the Super M's. 2 races at once happening out there on the circuit, keeping us nice and busy. Good shot there of Wyatt Avis. And again, just to see them change up style. You always see a motocross rider, they always sit a little bit more upright on the super bikes, but that will change with time, experience, and seat time around the circuits of the country. You don't want to be known as a one-track hero. These guys will be loading up the trailers and hitting all of the tracks as they go around the circuit and around the years. Oh, a little bit of a wide line there, and that was Shelley getting up the inside and picking up one of our lappers. That looked like Van Sale got real caught out there. Oh, and again.
Got caught out again by Brandon Good, who just shoves it up the inside and gets through.
Unfortunately, that's a little bit of lack of experience, and the blue flag scenario not necessarily coming into play or being adhered to by one of our newer riders on the circuit.
And also, I think the rule at hand, as we always know, is to hold your line. Don't change your line up in the middle of the corner. I think that's why he got caught out. Brandon Good had already decided, I'm going up the inside. He tried to come back at it and had to sit up. So we're on to the final lap, and the leader should be heading out of the corkscrew, heading into Portable Shade. There is a confirmation. 1 lap to go.
A nice blurry one lap to go.
It's an artistic, what do you call it? Artistic impression of what I was talking about.
A little bit of humidity on the lens, someone's going to tell me, no doubt.
All right, so 2 Yamahas battling for 3rd place, and I was just also looking at the way things turn out there. If Shelley goes to 3rd, it's going to give Brandon Good a shot of 4th place, and 4th place will mean he has got 21 points to catch Lance Isaacs, who's now demoted down into 4th place in this championship.
Just a point to make as well, one of our competitors, and this again is going to disturb your abacus, Yanni Moll, rolling off the track 4 laps into this event. No real problems for him, but you could see from the shots we saw in the early running that he really wasn't enjoying the circuit, and like I said, the smaller riders not really having an advantage. The flag is out though, and our champion-elect once again, and remaining champion for the last couple of years, that's it.
Done.
We saw it. That is the championship in the bag. Heat number 1 is all he had to do, and Sella is once again the champion of 2016 in National Superbikes. Can anybody beat this guy?
Let's just throw in another little factor there we need to bring in. That's 4 championships in a row.
Back to back to back to back. Thank you very much. Harron comes through and cements himself as 2nd best, but remember, he is good on his day and can at some point and will win another championship. He gets 2nd place. Shelley, confirmation of the 3rd place. Brandon Good, his teammate, right on his wheel to the tune of 0.4 of a second in 4th. Still waiting on Jade Goodside to come through. Remember, the couple of riders have gone a lap down. Dylan Gray, White Avis, Luan Mansell, Johnny Kricker, and Neil Van Loggenberg going 1 and 2 laps down and just waiting on Jade Goodside to come through. There's Jade. He ticks it, and he does remain ahead of Lance Isaacs. So confirmation, Jade Goodside winning out the Super M category and a 5th place overall, beating out some of the big hitters. I'm talking about Lance Isaacs in the National Superbike Super GP category. But the man of the moment and the man of the last 4 seasons of Premier Category Superbike racing in South Africa is Clinton Sella.
The reason I was taking such a little bit longer time is to give Clint Sella a chance to get that Portable Shade shirt on. It means he's got the number 1 plate again. For the 4th time in a row, back-to-back champions. Let's hear it for Evil Knievel, Clint Sella. There it is, the podium ceremony, and 3rd place going to be handed out by Mr. Wayne Riddell from Motorsport South Africa to Anthony Shelley. That's just... Second place by Mr. Stephen Watson from Gas Sports, going to Brent Harron. And taking their first win in 7 years. Thanks, Wayne Riddell, for that information. Yamaha, the big man from, the boss man from Yamaha, going to be handing it out to his number 1 rider. Let's hear it for Clint Sella. Let's make some noise there for your podium one more time, ladies and gentlemen. And let's get the riders down here for a quick chat. And I can't believe how well you went out there, but it was a bit of a difficult one to race with Brandon Good. And I thought there might be some team orders to play with, but didn't look like it.
No, there's no team orders here. I'm very happy with this team. We went out now, my front tire was still cold. And I just rode the first 3 laps to get the tire hot. And then I put the hammer down and I had to go.
It went well, and well done for 2 3rd places back to back.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you a little bit later on. Let's get to Brent Harron here as well. Brenny, it went relatively well, but I'm sure that you got a little bit more in the bag if you can get it sorted.
Yeah, I thought I was going to do a bit better, I'll be honest. I was expecting more. But hats off, Madoff. I take Madoff to Clint. He rode really well. I was trying everything I could there, and I had nothing for him. On the drive, he was just killing me. He was getting on the gas so early. So well done to him. But thanks to all my sponsors, Kawasaki, Metal Center, Marasso, RD Racing, Odin Power Sports, KBD Paint Shop, everyone that's just helped me get here. It's good to be on the podium again after my injury, and quite chuffed.
Unofficially, I can give you a bit of news. You have moved into third place and overtaken Lance Isaacs, so you still got a chance of a third place overall.
Yeah, you know, after how the season's gone, with all the bad luck and the crashes that are my fault, and the injuries, I think third place will be a good position to finish, and it will be a good reward for everyone that's put their money and their effort into me. So yeah, quite something to be stoked about.
Look forward to race number 2 now. Well done. Dude, I said it all season, and I just have to say it one more time. There's just no one that can catch you. That is 4 championships back-to-back.
No, I must be honest, certainly not an effort by myself. Anastas Racing, Alfie Swanepoel, Martin Pretzel, Neolife, Race, just every single person that's been behind me all these years. Really, it's an incredible achievement. And to be honest, I just sit on top of that weapon there. And yeah, it makes my life a lot easier.
I think you've made the big boss of Yamaha pretty happy as well.
Yeah, you know, it's an incredible weapon. Every time I ride this bike, it actually blows my mind. You know, I go far beyond I'd ever thought I could. And it just grips and drives. And yeah, I think I felt Brent had me in the dry as well. So literally, I was amazed what this bike could let me do.
Okay, so we're going to give somebody a chance in the second race or not?
No, Brent's going to make me work for it. I know that's 100% sure. But yeah, I mean, the show's here for the crowd, so that's why we do this.
And they can't wait, I can tell you. There you go. Let's hear it for your newly crowned champion, ladies and gentlemen, Clint Seller. Let's get the Super M's up here now. And I'm just waiting for a confirmation on the results there because I didn't get the results at all. So hold on one second. Wyatt, third place. Am I right? Wyatt Avis, third place. That's an incredible ride. Can you believe it? Dylan Gray in second place. Let's get him up on there. And on top, of course, the man, the local man. And if he didn't win here today, his dad was going to shout at him. Let's hear it for Jade Goodsight. Third place, Mr. Stephen Watson. Thank you, Stephen. That's Wyatt Avis there. Wyatt, I'm a bit concerned about the fact that you came to grips with this motorcycle so well, but you're used to jumping things over the buildings and stuff, you know? Crazy. Dylan Gray, second place by Pradesh from Pirelli. And first place. You got a busy day today, boss man. Let's get up there. Another Yamaha rider on top of the podium, Jade Goodsight. Peter Wilkins from Yamaha, very, very happy with that. All right, there they are. Let's get him down and find out how it went. The only 600 rider in Super M today. As I said, they're used to jumping motorcycles and not going on the black stuff, but you managed to keep it up there and went well.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. Had a good race with Dylan. Got a little bit of cramp at the end, not used to being so cramped up on the bike all the time, but it was a lot of fun, and looking forward to the next race.
Awesome job. Let's find out from Dylan how his day went. Dylan, it's a motorcycle of note that you're playing on, but 18 laps I think got you eventually.
Yeah, I was very tired. I'm not too fit, so riding like that was a bit hard, but glad of the result. Just want to thank Steve for all the work he's done on the bike. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do it.
He does a relatively good job, doesn't he? More importantly, though, it's first time out for you and for Wyatt, and gives you a chance that looking at Super M for full time for next year.
Well, hopefully next year we'll be able to do it for the whole season if we can travel, but otherwise maybe just half the season and then just see how it goes from there.
Brilliant job. Dude, I didn't expect to see you this high up this early on, but well done. And the crowd were certainly impressed with the local man doing the job.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been a big learning curve for me, but a great challenge. And the guys from Yamaha were kind enough to give me a bike, and AMP, Mark Roach, you know, with Motel and Metzler and Shuey and everything else that I need. it's good to be back in the family. You know, I retired on a Yamaha from the off-road racing, and now I'm back in the family on a superbike, and learning every lap I do, I learn more, and hopefully next year I can race a bit closer to the main oaks.
One of the main oaks I'm a bit concerned about, I'm going to have a chat with him a bit later, is Lance Isaacs. He couldn't find a way past you, but
Jeez, I was actually surprised he didn't dive me a couple of times, because I outbraked myself about 5 times and did some stupid things looking back when I shouldn't have. But my arms, I've battled so much with arm pump at the moment, I'm too stiff. And yeah, but 18 laps is a long way. So I thought we were near the finish. I still saw 12 to go. So yeah, it was great though. Good thing to be at our own track, and my dad's done a great job here, and I think everybody's enjoying themselves so far. Hasn't been any real incidents, and yeah, we've had all good fun, I think.
Great stuff, Jade, and I think once again, well done to Dezzi for putting this all together. It's an awesome track to be playing at, and well done to our Super M's. On the circuit now is the final bit of racing for the season. Can't believe we've come to this already.
Can't believe we are at the last race of the day. I can believe it on the season. It's been a very long season for the National Tour. We have moved around. There's been a lot of date changes, and the riders and teams have had to do the hop. They've been there with us the whole way through the Dezzi SuperGP Champions Trophy, and it's great to sign off at this incredible circuit.
Some brilliant racing so far, and some more to come now in the final race. Hopefully they've kept the best to last. That's normally what happens. So if we get a phenomenal race to end of the season, what a way to sign off on a great championship so far. And looking forward to next year. We've already been touting the fact that we're going into next season with a combined regional and national championship. And I think if this man has got anything to do about it, he's going to be there in full effect. And I think SBK just making sure that those Oakleys are on Jade Goodside's face so he can get the money paid, eh?
And doesn't Jade Goodside just look the consummate superbike pro?
Yeah, pretty much. But every time he gets into something, he goes that big.
Pro.
Half the time, the battle is won by the way you look on a motorcycle. So
here's Sir Lancelot. He's on the comeback trail. Big improvements from yesterday. Big improvements this morning. Improvements again in race number 1. And based on his history, we'll see an improvement once again in heat number 2.
Improvements right the way through. I just gave a big thumbs up to Brent Herron. He'll be looking to come through rapidly. There is...
There's the 600 rookie, which I was raising an eye at, by the way.
Yes, indeed. No, the rookie on that was due to the fact that he's riding in both, and he'd gone so well and done such a good job to get onto the podium.
Respect for that as well.
There are no rookies yet today, unfortunately. We didn't have any rookie riders, so we had to try and make a plan around that, and that was the call from Tim Cook from Gas Sports to say, you know what, he's put in such a valiant effort. Let's reward him for it.
Yeah, straight up. Great to see all these local riders lining themselves up here. And is Peter Wilkin losing his mind right now? Yes, he is, because there are 6 Yamaha R1s out there.
What's up, Dylan Gray? How you doing? Good to go now for race number 2. Tyre warmers just going to be put on for about 3 seconds, and then they'll probably have to be ripped off as we get ready to go. Yanni Moll and Neil van Lockenberg does not take anything away from the KTM riders out there, because as they stand, they are sitting 2nd and 3rd place in this championship for Super M.
Yep. They've done the hard work at the beginning of the season. Yes, there's been big bangers and named riders coming in, lastminute.com, but it was the KTM boys predominantly that lined up and signed up at the beginning of the season for the Super M's, and that's why they're going to get awarded with the big dollars.
And a full season is what this most important aspect of to be said there. KTM 1, 2, 3, 1 out of Motos Clarkstorp, and 2 out of Motos Clarkstorp, and 1 out of Rad.
Yep. RAD, Rad Motos. Dave Griffin down here putting in some serious mileage around the country, as has Bew Levy. Man, oh man, I don't want to see the diesel bill at the end of the season. I
want to see the photo that SBK's just taken, because that's going to definitely be posted on Facebook in a few minutes' time. I saw him just bending down to get a really good shot of the Pirelli girls.
Eesh.
ER24 for the final time to go and make sure the track is clear and ready to rock and roll for the final race of the season here at Dezzi South Coast Raceway.
Remember, Jade Goodsight, he was lined up on the outside of row number 1. He's there again because he had a real good string of laps this morning in the changeable conditions. Seemed to be one of those riders, actually not counting Clint Seller and Brent Herron. In fact, it was Jade Goodsight who was the first to come to the top of the pile and find the pace. Only very late on did Brent Herron come through and start climbing the ladder. By that stage, although we already knew that Clinton Seller was going to be the king of qualifying / Superpole. I think this is the best lineup of national superbikes mixed in with the Super M's that we've seen in the last 3 seasons. Great to see the numbers coming up there, and not taking anything away from technology, but because of the new arrival of the Yamaha, it seems to have changed things a lot. It's not just flip a coin, are you going to ride a BMW or a Kawasaki? This year has blown things wide open, and what you and I hear on the underground grapevine, we might even see 2 more manufacturers lining up next year as well.
You're going to need a four-sided coin.
Yeah, I need a 4-sided corner. In fact, I need a cube. But
you need a cube, yes.
There's a chance of Suzuki coming in
Yes.
full-time. We already know that David McFadden has picked up what sounds like might take him forward into a ride for next year on the international side of things, riding in the Super Stock Championship, which is where Matty Scholz is this weekend as well, riding on a Yamaha. But we know that David McFadden already has, in his grubby paws on South African shores, a top-of-the-line GSXR 1000, homologated and good to go racing for next year as well.
Nice Yamaha VIP area there, just at the pit exit. Great to see them all there, all wearing their Yamaha Champions T-shirts under those Yamaha jackets. It's got a bit cooler down on the grid. It's not as muggy as what it was earlier on, although we do see some people still out there in the wife beaters and T-shirts. But also picking up on the fact that you've got lots of action here this weekend still to be sorted out, with 18 more laps of action to happen here in the Super GP category.
You know what's going to help as well? It's something that we've hinted at but not really discussed openly. The fact that with a full-time track down here in KZN operating daily, we will see new talent come forward. Tomorrow, next day, next year, we will talk about new riders.
Natal-based riders. Great to see. We've already seen 2 of them in action today. One of them there on the 9.4, that's Dylan Gray. And, of course, Wyatt Avis doing a super job on the 600. Johnny Cricker's in the middle of the shot there on the 13 bike. That's a 750cc Suzuki that he's on. And Alan John Fenter Racing, of course, looks after that bike to get it all prepped. Fortunately, Alan John not able to be down here. He had also some other duties to attend to. But it's all good to go now for the warm-up lap. And then under starters orders for the final race of the season.
Yep, here we go. And the race organizers hustling, chasing the rain. I think we are going to get away with it. A mere 18 laps left on the season. So warm-up very important this time around as well, because completely different conditions. Last time it was blazing sunshine. This time around it is going to be intermittent with a chance of haze. And it's not going to be purple. It may be a little bit flavored, and it may be a little bit muggy. It is going to be a completely different feel on the tarmac right now.
Still lots of grip available, that is for sure. And those Pirellis are going to have to look for that grip right from the word go. Heading down here, you can see them trying to get as much temperature into the tires, into the brakes as possible, and get themselves all sorted out now for this final race.
Harron will be on the big wind-up, as will Jade Goodside. Jade said he was suffering a little bit with the race and pace. Not that it showed, to be honest, when he got off the bike. He wasn't even sweating. Extremely fit athlete at everything he turns his hand to. And obviously in the last year or so, he's been picking up the bicycle more than he has the motorbikes, which means his cardiovascular system is extremely strong right now.
Looking at the way things are going to line up now for this final heat of the season. Sella's got the title. We've already spoken about that. Scholz will hang on possibly to keep second place. Lance Isaac's dropping down ever so slightly. Didn't help him out. But Brent Harron has taken over that third spot from Lance Isaac. So the battle is there between 77 and 38 for third spot overall in the championship. And Harron right now has the advantage.
Off the line, always going to be talking about Sella, so strong off the pull. Shelley, not too much launch experience coming off the big bike, so I'm expecting to see a small improvement from Shelley. Where he is on the lineup, it's a great spot. Right in the middle of row number 2, gives you the huge lineup. Just waiting for the all clear at the back, and everyone has done the hustle up. Last rider to stop is going to be Wyatt Avis, and we will go green at the back.
Lights are on any second now. Little twitch there from Harron. Clicks up the gearbox. Looks down, lights are going to go off. Who's going to get the whole shot towards turn 1? Watch off the line. Oh, an incredible start there from Brandon Good. He gets going really well, heading down towards turn 1, but it looks like Goodside might have got the whole shot.
Nope.
He goes side by side with Sella.
And he goes around the outside.
Oh, man, that's incredible.
A small roll off there. He may get swamped at the top of the hill. No, he's not. He's going to cover the line. Goodside into the 2 spot as we head into the corkscrew. Much better pull off the line this time around. And Isaacs is there as well, 4th.
Anthony Shelley into third place. Brandon Good, the man who got off the line quickest, is in fifth place with Harron on his tail. Behind there, it's Dylan Gray. Harron going to go on the inside for the block pass.
That was nice. That was a good time to get it pulled as well. Everyone was pretty slow, tripling their way into the portable shade turnaround. Seller is stretching it out straight away. There's Goodside. A small twitch for him. He's got to cover the inside. Around the outside goes Shelley. Thank you.
Yeah, nice bit of maneuvering there from Anthony Shelley. Trying to find his way through early on, but further back there, Wyatt Avis fighting for honours with Johnny Kricker as they come through 750 versus 600cc. Avis from a motocross background, Johnny Kricker from a boxing background, and doing an awesome job. But the best job so far is coming out of Goodside. Can you believe this action?
Harron is climbing the ladder quickly. He's going to make mincemeat of that back tyre in the early stages. Look at that inside line, almost squaring it completely all the way through as he entered into the Pirelli section. This is going to be the end of the lap. He's not going to be able to fight against Thunder. They are inside line there, right at the end. Harron gets the move done. So Harron is on the fly, and he has got himself up into third place, making some big passes on lap one.
Yeah, that's what he needed to do. He's got to get away from that 38 special bike of Lance Isaacs, who sits in fifth place. Harron in third place right now. Going to try and make sure that he's got that third place wrapped up. He's done the damage in race number one, managing to finish way up the road from Lance Isaacs. Isaacs under pressure as Brandon Good starts to apply some massive pressure from the Yamaha squad onto the BMW. And we know just how difficult that BMW is to ride. Lance Isaacs has spoken about it all season long.
Yeah,
Brandon Good, though, has got to grips with that bike really quickly.
Real quick. It seems to be the way with those Yamahas. They seem to be a very quick bike to learn, whereas the BMW has been a learning curve on the steep side for Lance Isaacs. Much better pull for the BMW rider this time off the line. But unfortunately, he cannot seem to link this track up as yet. And I really do think we're giving too much away from the fact that he got his bike yesterday from Spain, has hardly had any setup on his machine.
Here we go up into the southern loop. And watch for the drive from the Yamaha. In fact, watch for the drive in front of him as well. Isaacs, all race one, could not find a way past on Goodside. And once again finds himself behind Goodside, but up the inside goes Brandon Good. Thanks for coming into the final turn.
Nice inside line there as well. Exactly the same move that we saw Harron pull just a few laps ago. And Harron has now made his way through on Shelley as well. So Harron now up into the 2 spot.
Up to second. Shelley into third. Jade Goodside still maintaining what is fourth on track, with Brandon Good starting to close in on him. You know that Good will probably have a little bit more time in the saddle, a bit more experience on that R1 than what Jade Goodside has. But nonetheless, Goodside still able to run in a top 5 position in his first time of asking.
Listen to this number. First flying lap of the race. That's lap number 2. Clint Seller goes 16 flat.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, and only 0.3 off the lap record he set in race number 1.
Just incredible pace straight out of the blocks. So Seller, the reigning champion, the multiple champion, now tags number 4 of his championship score on his wall and goes after a lap record. He's going to walk away as the fastest man to chase down on this circuit for 2016. Harron, though, constantly finding improvements on his Kawasaki and running good numbers out there.
Well, Harron certainly has to work hard. There's no doubt about it, because he is going like a rocket right now. And if you look at the pace that's coming from Brandon Good, also, and from Shelley, I should say, looking to put the pressure on him. But further back, though, Brandon Good is putting massive pressure onto Jade Goodside. Goodside, look for the move up the inside. Same maneuver. He pulled on Isaacs, and he gets through to get on and ahead of Goodside. So coming across the line now, that is Brandon Good into 4th place. It's M-Tech, National Yamahas, 3 and 4 on track.
Yeah, he has made that move his own, and it's good to see Goody coming on through there. Goodside just seems to be squaring that corner a little bit too open, trying to give himself better drive, but there's no advantage gained by going wide. You might as well cut back, climb the inside curb, and block the lines. Otherwise, that is going to be an open door every single lap if someone's queued up behind you.
3.5 seconds between the riders as they go into that lap. Incredible stuff coming out of Brent Harron, though. He got down into the 16.2s. Anthony Shelley also in the 16.2s. So we have now 5 riders able to get into the very low 16s around Dezzi South Coast Raceway.
Let's see what Harron can do, because it looks like Shelley is matching him lap for lap.
Now heading into this little section. Absolutely amazing stuff. You can see them heading up into the southern loop. And, wow, the equal times coming out of Shelley and Harron are certainly going to be put to the test over these next couple of laps. Anthony Shelley would like to step up one more position on the podium and show that stepping into the R1 for the very first time at the final round was a great decision coming from the M-Tech team. And, of course, Ricky Marias making that call.
Yeah,
so he'll be happy with that if he's able to get up onto the second step and improve by 1 step on the podium here in the final race.
Yeah, you know, a couple of years back, it was it was good to see Shelley starting to make his way up. I think he really, truly, by this stage, is matured, and I think he is ready to be a full-time 1000cc superbike rider.
I can tell you Jade Goodside is. If that's the kind of pace we can get out of him, hopefully we're going to see him full-time in Super GP next year.
That's the idea. He's already told us he is on point. He's got full backing from Yamaha, and just based on this first run, even on this track, I already heard some incredible times coming out of him as a massive wag of the tail coming out of Harron heading down into NGL. But yeah, we know that Yamaha are fully behind Jade Goodside. Whatever he gets on, be it jet skis, superbikes, motocross bikes, whatever, they are going to be there with him along for the ride.
Yeah, great to see Mark Roach from AMP also helping him out there. Shoei helmets, Motul, and of course Metzler tires, and of course that'll be if we're on Metzler's next year, but I believe Pirelli have already looked at this option for next year and are going to be with us full time. So awesome stuff. But here we go. A little bit further back, that is Yanni Moll. He's fighting for third place with looks like Luan van Zyl, and that is for 5th place in the Super M's, but the 3rd place I'm talking about is in the overall championship for Super M.
I'm loving what's happening behind Lance Isaacs as he's on the back bumper of Jade Goodside, a la race number 1. Dylan Gray and local hero White Avis are pairing up. The Yamaha R1 1000cc machine matched on this circuit by the ZX6 600 machine. Gray versus Avis, a wonderful 7-8 battle.
Yeah, lovely to see just how close that is, in fact. That's what it's all about in terms of this championship. Some 600s and modified 600s can definitely run with these 1000cc's in the Super M. We've got a couple of twins out there also fighting in the Super M's. We've got a couple of different variations on those twins as well. Every now and again, a Panigale coming into play too. Looking forward to
that'll run good here. That'll run real good here. The Panigales have got a real good squid out the corners as well, so it's going to be good to see how the twins actually are able to cope with a circuit like this. Like we've said all the way through the day, a bit of a point and squirt track.
Well, as we look back to pick up on some of the riders further back, that is Johnny Cricker we're seeing. We do see a new lap record coming out of Clint Sella. I was hoping to see a shot of him. There it is. Sella across the line with a 15.526. That is 0.3 of a second quicker than his lap record from race 1.
No pressure on him at all, but he's such a clever rider. He's done a lot of learning throughout the weekend and figuring this circuit out. If he's able to run a 15.5 right now, then with a little bit more practice on the circuit, you've got to know that it's going to be a low 15, possibly a high 14 going forward into next season.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be looking forward to now as they come down into this very technical section. So roller coaster circuit has been nicknamed. But of course the corkscrew, a very, very prominent part of this track. There comes 2nd and 3rd. Aaron not too far back, in fact.
It's a great spectacle. Absolutely love the camera angle that we're getting there. Really shows all the undulation, shows how much work the riders are having to do. And when we went on board earlier today and saw yesterday's running lap by Blaze Baker, just shows you how much work the riders have to do.
Well, Yanni Moll with that Alaman TT Arai helmet is about to be eaten up by Aaron now, who gets through. Sella's already gone past him. So it took them 7 laps in the first heat. It's taken a little bit less this time. They're on the 7th lap, and they've got through on Yanni Moll.
Sure, next time we come across the line, there will still be 11 laps remaining in our final race of the year.
Rad KTM man just hanging tough. We're finishing the season and happy with the way things have gone. He had a little bit of an outing earlier on in the season as well as part of the 390 development and ran in the northern regions there, but has concentrated on his Super M Championship, and it's gone really well to finish in the top 3.
Yanni Moll actually a Moto Klerksdorp rider. In fact, they're all Moto Klerksdorp riders coming out of this category. So Dave better start lining his boys up for next year because there's a war between the KTM dealers.
It's great to see, and it's great rivalry, what we want to be seeing at Super GP level. There comes Harron onto the back end of the 24 bike of Luan van Zyl. Van Zyl this time allowing lots of room for his fellow Kawasaki man to get through.
Lots and lots of room. He went to the beach.
I don't want to turn too far left at that point. There is a big drop-off there just behind those decks.
Harron seems to have got rid of Shelley as well, so Harron is on point and locked himself into the low 16 bracket. So Harron has found some great pace and consistency in his bike going into the second heat.
16.1 out of the 2 of them on the last one, 16.7 coming out of Anthony Shelley, which is why he's been able to pull away. It's about half a second he was able to make on that last lap, and he's pulling some more here on Shelley. There you can see Shelley in picture. I think he just battled to get through on the back markers, just took his time, didn't want to go and throw it away or spoil any of the back markers' day of racing. Out of NGL Logistics Solutions corner and section they come, and Lance Isaacs
through on Yanni Moll.
I was about to say it looked very similar to Clint Sella. I was going to be, what the hell's going on there?
We had to have a bit of a second look there. So here's Jade Goodside again through the traffic. it's proving that the first rider to arrive at traffic has all the advantage. Normally it's the second rider because the door has been opened and the rider that's being passed knows that there's more riders behind him. This time around, though, again, a similar situation as we saw with Odendahl in heat number 2 of the Super 600s. The front end of the BMW not working for Isaacs, and he's not able to hold those tight lines. That's why he's falling off pace.
And he's not going to get past Goodside if that's the case. Down into turn 1, that's the battle we're seeing right now between Isaacs and Goodside. It's the proudly Bidvest Yamaha taking on the Black Swan BMW. Isaacs has got points where he's a little bit better, but overall, Jade seems to be a little bit better overall on the circuit.
Very, very, very hard track to overtake on. That is what we have learned today, coming down here to Dezzi Raceway for the first time. Super hard to make them count, and when you make them count, it has to be in one of these stop-start corners, particularly that corner there coming out. Today, it's called Portable Shade Hairpin.
Brandon Good coming out of DO double right and heading towards NGL Logistics. Let's see how good he's going, and he has got a slight advantage on Jade Goodside, although Goodside is still within a shot. It's not too far away.
Fantastic to see this battle. This is what we were talking about a little bit earlier on. 7th and 8th place, Dylan Gray versus Wyatt Avis. A new Yamaha R1 versus an older Kawasaki ZX6.
Right, and out of NGL, heading towards Pirelli Southern Loop. Closing in one of the back markers, that's the 2-4 bike of Luan van Sal, just getting out the way. Allowing Goodside and Isaacs to sneak through.
Yeah, the race is definitely stretched out as far as the key points go. But remember, that battle on track for second in the Super M's between Gray and Avis is still something to watch out for and keep an eye on. Again, Isaacs looks like he may be waking up a little bit here because he's definitely pulled up to the back end of Goodside and he wants to come on through.
Halfway stage reached. Still some time there for Isaacs to make and get past Jade Goodside. 9 laps done, 9 to go. Around Neil van Lockenberg, or on the inside. There you go, sneaks through. Van Lockenberg sits up. I think he realized Goodside was right there, but he has blocked Isaacs.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a key point to make the pass. If you can pick up and stretch out there, and all that advantage, and almost a second advantage pulled out immediately as they drop off down the hill once again. To talk about lap times, Clinton Seller has not dropped off points at all. He threw in that crazy time of 15 lows. Now he is in the 15 mids, and that's where he'll stay. He's so good at just staying solid.
Here's that battle, Avis versus the 94.
Watch Avis. He does not move off that bike. It's like watching Simon Free of Bike SA. Just sits right in the middle of the machine. So what I'm saying for that is he's definitely got improvements to make, and as soon as he changes his riding style, he'll find something like a 2.5 seconds.
Time in the saddle is all important. It's probably his first time or second time out, and for that kind of effort, not a bad one at all. Remember, he comes from a motocross background, so it's a completely different riding style to learn how to ride a motorcycle on the road as opposed to riding it in dirt where it just gets out of shape all the time.
Sits right in the middle of the bike, and yeah, as soon as he starts leaning off, and he's doing a lot of learning as well, it's clear that the rider he's up against, Dylan Gray, has got a bit more background, and he's a good rider to watch. He looks very comfortable in that Yami.
Sneaking through on Yanni Mol, a man who's been on superbikes for a while, so coming into some back markers, even so far as down in 8th place. So Mol just circulating, just wants to finish up the season after completing a great season on board. Now, as they put the pressure on, it's a Goodside who was soaking it up from Isaacs, used the back markers to his advantage, and has about a second lead now over Isaacs.
Yeah, I think it'll yo-yo the whole way through the race. Similar situation as we saw in the last half to quarter of heat number 1. Isaacs got onto the back wheel, but could not make a move, could not make the pass. Yeah, you're pretty much on point there. 0.9, give or take, plus minus a second, plus VAT. The gap between Seller and Harron at the moment, stretching 8 seconds in it now.
And have a look at the lap times coming out of Seller. 15s, you got the 15.5, and it's been 15.6s for the last 3 laps.
Yep.
Incredible consistency out of Clint Seller.
15 mids the whole way through. Brandon Good has had a great run here as well. A great season, to be honest. He said came off essentially a privateer ride last year, got picked up by the MTech Nashua Yamaha squad, and he's been a find. I think he's been very solid. He did the hard work. He survived on the old machinery at the beginning of the season, even throwing in his best ever lap of Pakisa as we go on to 7 laps remaining. But I really do feel Brandon Good has found his form on the new machine.
I think with a little bit of testing in between now and round 1 of 2016, definitely a championship contender, because we know how good that bike is.
Yep, on his day, on the right track, when the wind is flying his way, he can definitely deliver top threes, left, right, and center. We're going to stay with this battle. This is for second place on the day in the Super M's.
Dylan Gray fighting with Wyatt Avis, heading to the Discover Digital drop away. And that's exactly what it does. You don't really see it from that angle, but it's completely off camber through that right-hander, and then drops away to your left-hand side as you come through the corkscrew before you flick it onto the left-hand side of the bike.
So Dylan Gray on the 1000cc Yamaha, current top of the range R1 machine. The ZX6 on Wyatt Avis, and you can see the power delivery on a track like this, not necessarily an advantage to have extra ponies on the right hand.
Well, we saw the lap record come down to a 16.1 for 600. It's gone down to a 15.5, so it's about that half-second bracket between the two, 1,000 and the 600 on this track.
At the pointy end.
Yeah, at the sharpest end of the field.
Luan Van Zyl, he just threw one of his nicest laps of the race, even though he's down there in 11th place, the 24 machine. Now that he's been put a couple of laps back, he can get back to his own zone as he runs a 1:25.9.
25.9. Hey, that's my lap time. In the Mini. So he's got some work to do. He's got to try and get into the 20s.
That's
your ideal time.
Yeah, these guys are going back and forth quite nicely. The pass was made on the entrance to the Southern Loop, the Pirelli Southern Loop. A real good zone here for Wyatt Avis, and he's done his learning. Now he gets out front and pulls 0.6 across the line ahead of Dylan Gray. But we know the 1000cc, by the time you get into the corkscrew section setup, pulls it back.
Avis is going to be looking at the blue flags going, what is a blue flag? I don't remember that from motocross.
Oh,
the reason the blue flags are coming out is because that's Sella on their tail.
And look how much you have to roll off. If you are on the back bumper at the beginning of the corkscrew, Sella has to wait days before he can get on the gas.
Unfortunately, there's no one real close to him, so there's lots of time for him to make it up.
Drag
and
race.
He's going to do that round the outside and show these boys just what an R1 can do.
Can you imagine that? You've done everything you can. You are flat out. You're as fast as the bike you feel can go. And Sella comes around your outside, one gear down, spinning the back tire and waving at you as he passes.
I know exactly how they feel. He's done that to me plenty times. I don't know how he does it, but he is really an incredible find and one of the best riders we've seen come out of South Africa in a long, long time. 4 titles back-to-back for Clint Sella, wrapping that up after race number 1, and now looking to make the final victory of the season all his.
Yeah, he is the man, and he's got a ton of international experience, but he brought it all home a couple of seasons back. He hasn't left these shores for quite a long time, and incredibly enough, AMA still haven't picked up the phone. I can't believe it. They won't admit their fault.
Yeah, they definitely lost out on a rider there, that is for sure. As we look at him heading into another lap of this race, and that completes 14 of 18, so there's 4 to go.
I'm absolutely knackered. I can't believe there's still 4 laps to go, and these guys won't believe it either. What we are seeing, though, there's not as much drop-off on the tires, and even Clinton Sella will admit that there was a little bit of spin on his incredibly well set-up machine towards the end of the race. This time around, the cool conditions definitely helping out.
Going around another back marker there, and just picking up on that one, I think probably going to be Luan Van Zyl. So Luan Van Zyl being lapped again by Clinton Sella. So Sella now just in a class of his own, just loving and reveling in the fact that that number 1 plate will be on his bike again next season. I can't even remember what he used to run. That's how far back it was.
I literally can't remember. I can't remember his name.
His normal number, yeah.
You have to go back to when he was on the Nashua team way back in the early 2000s, probably.
Not something he's going to be too worried about, though. That's for sure.
Harron has been able to maintain and pull back a little bit through the traffic. He's made some passes, made some time. He's also lost some time. So kind of leveled out around about the 7-second bracket.
Heads up on the bomb on the inside. Thought that might come.
Easy.
There it is, and across the line to start. Complete his 15 and 3 to go.
I'm impressed with how much grip is actually down there on that very inside line, because you can see it's a slightly different format of tarmac that's laid down there, and the guys are finding some good lines.
Looks like Luan Van Zyl saying, I've had enough, I'm coming in on this next one, as he crossed the line there to his pit crew. Battle continues though between Gray and Avis. Dylan Gray and Avis going at it. Not done just yet between the two of them. I think Avis might be just waiting for that last lap.
Yeah, Avis, watch out as they come in out of NGL Logistics. He's got a real good flow through that lefty-righty as it sets up into Pirelli Southern Loop. That seems to be his sweet spot.
If he can get that right through there and he gets into Pirelli Southern Loop in the lead, they're not going to get him, and I don't think Dylan can come back at him. The last lap, he did a 21.3 and a 21.6 out of Dylan Gray. So he has got 0.3 in the bag in that 600, although the 1,000 probably will just try and keep him out on the squirt. Here we go, back to Jade Goodsight. keeping Lance Isaacs at bay. That is an incredible effort. And in fact, Isaacs is now right out of it. That means Isaacs is right out of third place in the championship too.
Yep, yeah, today has really hurt the man from Cape Town in conditions that we thought would help him out. But it's not just the conditions, it's the hard-braking nature of this track that, you know, Lance will tell you until he's blue in the face. The BMW on a hard-braking circuit just dies, and you just got to fade it out.
Big pity there for Lance
It's too
Isaacs.
heavy. He says it's just too heavy, and it chews up brake pads.
A big pity there for Lance Isaacs. So he is going to be, well, not kicking himself, but he'll be just a bit disappointed in the fact that he didn't finish in the top 3. His good friend, Brent Herron, has bettered him and has turned his season around a little bit after some bad luck and, of course, missing around due to injury. So Herron will be ecstatic about the fact that he's going to be able to get into the top 3 in this championship with the second place here in the final heat.
Sella is about to see something absolutely fantastic very soon. He's heading into the last half of the lap, and the next time he comes across the stripe, it will be 1 lap remaining on the season.
Pretty awesome stuff here from this man. Really the class of the field all season long. And as I mentioned earlier on, the only time that we saw a chink in his armor is when he actually made a mistake himself.
Yeah, and he beats himself up bad about it, because all that's left for him to do, to be fair, is to have the perfect season.
It's a real tough one to get, and there's only a few people that have done that. 1 lap to go as he crosses the line. The R1 number 1 and your newly crowned champion has got 2.8 Ks to go before we wrap up this season.
How would this season have looked if Matty Scotts was on equal machinery from an earlier point in the season? Because Matthew Scotts, had he been here, would have been able to run very close to Sella.
Yeah, well, that's the battle we were expecting. They were coming into this round, I think it was 29 points in it, or 30 points in it or so. So it would have been a really great dice on the day, but needless to say, he got an awesome opportunity to be with MRS Yamaha this weekend, and decided to go that route just to see whether or not there's a possibility for next season.
That's what put us into the scenario where Sella was able to be crowned champion at the end of heat number 1 just a few short hours ago, and we are now wrapping up the season as we take a glory run on the last lap with the man who would be king once again. Next year he'll head into going for championship number 5.
Yeah, I'm going to just throw in the fact that
you sounded like Sella when you said that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to give you a little tinsel. Yeah, you know, it went all right. It's gone much more than all right. Back-to-back titles, 4 in a row, and he is now officially king of the Super GP. No doubt about it. The number 1 plate stays with Evel Knievel. Johnny Cricker, last man to be overtaken there, gives him a big thumbs up, and you can see he is ecstatic. The season is done. Super GP Champions Trophy, proudly brought to you by Deodin or our associate sponsors, is wrapped up here. And oh, Avis with a little move up the inside. I thought he might have a go.
Drag racing to the line. That is for second place on the day, and with that second, it means that Dylan Gray will take the number 2 spot in the Super M's with Wyatt Avis in third. Harron, Shelley, and your champ line up for a bit of a high five to talk about the day. Great numbers coming out of the boys. Harron has done very well on old equipment this year. He always knew he was going to be fighting against Thunder as soon as those new Yamahas arrived, and none of us knew how dominant they would be, or potentially dominant they would go on to be as well. The bike of choice right now, and fitting in with the homologation rules absolutely perfectly. 2016 is going to be a head scratcher for all the rest of the teams should they want to go up and chase down the might of Neolife, powered by Yamaha and Brandon Assis Racing's man at the top of the park, Sella. Shelley's arrival has been absolutely stellar, and it's time for him to put the little bikes down, I feel, and step onto the big 1-liter machines and go attacking and chasing down and try and tag his ever first national championship as well. Goody was a 4 spot there, with Jade Goodsight in 5th once again as the fastest man in the Super M's. Lance Isaacs taking a 5th place in the Super GPs and 6th overall. Dylan Gray got the 7th ahead of Wyatt Avis, making it 7 and 8, but 2 and 3 in the Super M's. Johnny Cricker in 9th place, Neil van Loggenberg, Jonny Mol, and Luan van Sale running out the 10, 11, 12 rider lineup. And that was the last racing lap of the 2015 season for the Deodin Super GP Champions Trophy.
We have a slightly happy Yamaha R1 here as it comes into the podium area. And some Pirelli smoke. This is probably the only way to go out. Great job there from Clinsella. But also just give you an indication that Anthony Shelley's efforts are going to be rewarded again, not only with a third place on the podium for the second time today, but also for the Rookie of the Day in Super GP, because he did step up to Super GP earlier on in the season. But with 2 podiums today, that is the best rookie for the day. So that goes to Anthony Shelley, which is a great effort from him. So he's going to be getting 2 of the trophies in this podium ceremony. But we are going to start with the Super M riders first. So if we can just ask the guys to get their bikes lined up in Super GP. We're going to start off with Super M's podium ceremony first and foremost. And if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much a carbon copy of race number 1 we're waiting for. You can see them making their way down here. A couple of tired riders. Jade Goodsight's not one of them, that's for sure. He was pretty much in a class of his own in the Super M category today. But we are going to go straight into Super M podium, then Super GP podium, and then, of course, our championship trophies to be handed out to the riders in all 4 classes here today. So hopefully all 4 of those riders are here. I know one is. He's definitely here. He's got the number 1 shirt on. So Wyatt Avis, if you wouldn't mind, we're waiting for you, big guy, up onto 3rd step of the podium. Let's give him a big round of applause, stepping from motocross, multiple South African as well as international rider when it comes to motocross. What a way to change up your riding skills. It's a 3rd place for the 2nd time today. Dylan Gray will join him, also 2nd time in 2nd place. So it's a double 3rd, a double 2nd. And that means we're going to get a double 1st as well for the man on his home track, Jade Goodsight. Hope he's around. I did see him there. There he comes. Jade going to make his way up into the top step of the podium. Let's give him a big round of applause. That is our Super M podium, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd place trophy going to be handed out by Mr. Tim Cook from Gas Sports. Oh, Jade didn't even give him a chance. Thanks, Jade. All right, Jade needs one of those blue tablets. He's got a premature, yeah, no, let's not go there, hey? But he got it out of shape. Oh, yeah, that's exactly how Jade is. All right, so the 3rd place trophy has been handed out. Good luck, Stephen. You're going to hand out 2nd place, Mr. Watson from Gas Sports, to Dylan Gray. And 1st place Pradesh from Pirelli will hand that to Jade Goodsight. Ladies and gents, let's make some noise for your Super M riders. Stay on the podium if you can, gentlemen. We need that for the television, so that's what it's all about. Thank you very much. Super M riders, you can come down. Thanks, Lee. Yes, I'll be your shield, Lee. Don't worry. Come on down. Let's have a quick chat to them quickly. And I think more importantly is just to catch hold of Jade one more time. Gents, we'll get to you now for the other interviews. But Jade, not only from a Super M point of view, I think this bodes well for 2016 and maybe seeing the likes of all 3 of you joining us at Super GP level, never mind Super M.
Yeah, for sure. You know, again, this is very new for me, so I didn't want to jump completely into the deep end with the guys, but we still raced together and it was good fun. And if I can get a trophy, you know, in the Super M's and maybe next year go up to the Super GP, it'll be cool for Yamaha and for me. And just having a lot of fun. And again, thanks to everybody that's helped out. And again, I think everybody's had fun here today. My dad's done a great job, and Yamaha, AMP, and all the guys that helped out, it's been good.
Yeah, I think more importantly from your point of view is the fact that we're at a brand new circuit. It's been a long time coming, and your dad and yourself and Shane have put in a massive effort to get this circuit sorted out. I think what we saw today in terms of 2-wheeled action here, like we saw at Extreme Festival a couple of weeks ago, bodes well for Natal Motorsport.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't know when last we had a national at a proper motorsport venue like this, national motorbikes in Natal. So a good few years, and it's unfortunately the weather put a bit of a damper on it, but I think from what I heard this week in Durban, there were going to be a couple thousand people coming out to watch. But, you know, you can't do anything about the weather. But for the future, I'm sure we're going to have lots of good racing here.
Well done. Congratulations. And also to Dylan and to Wyatt for a great effort. Let's step you guys down and now move into the Super GPs. Super GP in 3rd place, a great effort. And, of course, also receiving the Rookie of the Day for Super GP for the MTech Nashua Yamaha team, Anthony Shelley. Second place on the podium, and that will secure him 3rd place overall in the championship, unofficially, of course, but that goes to an awesome effort from a Kawasaki rider. That is Brent Herron, the Black Knight. And yet again, on the top step of the podium, he's a tough man to beat, especially in this kind of form, but he's got the number 1 plate again, and well done to Evil Knievel. Clinton Seller. So third place will be handed out by Mrs. Lee Watson from Gas Sports to Anthony Shelley. Second place is going to be handed out by, oh, there you go, Dick Shuttle, our official COC and representative of the Motorcycle Commission for Motorsport South Africa. Before we hand out first place, I want to ask Mr. Peter Wilkins to go and join them there because it is a Yamaha victory again for the manufacturers. So if you wouldn't mind, join your rider at the top there. I'm sure you've been looking forward to doing that after taking 2 titles today. It's a bit of a tough walk up there for you, I see, hey? Manufacturers Award will be handed out. That is going to be handed out by, oh, the man himself, Des Goodsight. Let's give him a big round of applause. Come on, ladies and gents. What an awesome effort from Des Goodsight to give us this awesome facility. Yeah, that's what it's all about. He's loving that, hey? You never get Des out of a photo. Photo opportunity, Des is in there. He's like me. All right, let's give first place out from Pradesh, from Pirelli to Clinsella. Where are you going, Pete? Do you want to get out of the champagne or something, eh? Oh, yeah, you've been there before, eh? Well done. And the Rookie of the Day also goes to Anthony Shelley. An awesome effort for him. 2 podiums in Super GP, 1 in the Super 600s. Probably the rider of the day if we had to give one out today. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Your final podium for 2015 in the Super GPs. You guys can have a bit of champagne spray. We're going to do the champions after this. Enjoy. Stay on the podium, Anthony Shelley. Yeah, looks like the Watson boys love the champagne more than anybody else. Well done, guys. There you go. All right, we're not quite done with the podium. If you guys can come down, I think we just want to have a quick chat to these riders before we do the final podium. And busy day in the saddle, buddy.
Oh, yeah, it was a good day. I really enjoyed it. Went well today. The second race now was a bit better. And I don't know, I'd like to thank Uncle Ricky and Nashia MTech Yamaha for everything they've done for me this year. And I would looking forward to riding with them next year again.
I think after today, there's no doubt about it. I think the contract's basically just being printed on the table and you can go and sign right now.
Well, I hope so.
Good effort. Well done. Good job today. Brent, come on in, you big guy. Let's have a quick chat. As I said, unofficially, it looks like you might have just secured that third place overall in the championship. And after the ups and downs and missing around, it just bodes well. And hopefully, with some backing from KMSA next year and some from all the sponsors, you can go out and go for the hunt again for the championship.
Yeah, I think even with the changes that may be made to the points, I'm still going to be third anyway, as far as I know. So yeah, quite chuffed, like you said, after all the ups and downs we've had this season. Really, really stoked. Big thanks to Metal Center, Kawasaki, everyone else that's got me at RD Racing, Odin Power Sports, all the boys, Marosa, KBD. They're the guys that got me on the grid. Hopefully next year the new Kawasaki's coming out, so be a little bit more competitive and give them a run for the money. Making it incredibly 4 national championships back-to-back. Evil Knievel has shown that he is the class of South African superbike riders and taking another championship here today. Wrapping it up completely, let's hear it for Clinton Seller. All right, so he's got his AGV helmet in one hand, he's got his Near Life bottle in the other. He can't hold his trophy, so I'll ask Stephen Watson to stand next to him. No, there you go. Stephen Watson going to hand out the final trophy. And that's your Super GP champion for 2015, ladies and gents. Make some noise. All right. Let's get him down here and have a quick chat, then we'll get to the other champions. Clint, not much more than we said earlier on. It's now done and dusted officially. The trophy's in the hand. I just said to you, I think when you move into the new house after the marriage is all sorted out, you need a trophy room, bud.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Nessus race shop needs a bigger trophy room because that's where they go. So I think they've got about 3 rooms filled already, but the plan is many, many years keeping doing that. So yeah, I mean, that race was intense. The season was intense. To be honest, out of all the championships that I've had so far, this has been the hardest, but I've really enjoyed it. It's been the most rewarding for sure.
And we're looking forward to more of the same for next year. It's going to be a little bit of a harder battle, I think, for next year. A couple more riders on Yamahas. The new Kawasaki coming. I know that Lance is working hard with BMW to get sorted out. Possibility of McFadden on a Suzuki. So we got 3, possibly 4 manufacturers fighting for this championship next year.
Now, that's fantastic. I mean, the good news is that we all the top riders in the country are riding against each other, and you know, that just makes me smile because I really, really enjoy riding my motorcycle, and I really enjoy riding my Yamaha, so let's have some fun.
Super M, he didn't even have to ride today, incredibly. He came down and supported all the riders that come out of Moto's Klerksdorp. He did an awesome effort in the first 5 rounds to wrap this up, and let's hear it for Bu Levy, your Super M champion. Pradesh from Pirelli going to hand out the Super M Champions Trophy. Congratulations, Bu. Oh, you're not even going to take a chance to get photos, eh? 5 rounds of intense racing, sorted it all out, said, right, I'm going home, I've had enough. I'll come back at the end and just get my trophy.
No, I wish it was like that, but I'd rather ride. That's why we are, to ride our bikes. Unfortunately, I got injured. I tried to ride yesterday, 3 laps. I said, no, I won't make 18 laps, so I'm not going to get hurt. Got the championship, so I'm glad.
A nice effort from your team as well, because it's basically a 1-2-3 there for Motors Klerksdorp.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad. That's why I pushed Gianni. Shame he's tired. He tried his best just to come 3rd so he can beat the 4th person, and now Neil is 2nd, so it's lekker. I'm happy.
Are we looking forward to seeing a big effort once again from Motors Klerksdorp for the Super M next year? Maybe even you stepping up like we asked Carl to after his victory in Super M?
Yes, I'd love to come ride next year. We'll see what the rules does. And the bots is coming with the gas sport, so it's going to be perfect for us riding our bikes in our class.
The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.